Good morning. Hi. Happy Sunday. Can you believe it's already Sunday? I think the weeks are going by really fast. Although January kind of seemed like a long month. Like somebody said to me something about the holidays, and it was like, oh, that was so long ago. And then you realize it really wasn't. Is that just me? Anyways, how are you all doing today? Before we get into today's topic of attachment, I just wanted to say a big thank you to those who reached out over the last week with the loss of my beloved pup. I appreciated it. It was so kind and thoughtful and sweet. And sorry, my phone is sliding. There we go. Stay. Okay. Anyways, I just want to say thank you for that. The love and kindness, it does make a difference. And I appreciate the compassion. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about attachment. And not most people, when we start talking about attachment, they think about, being attached to outcomes, because that's something we talk a lot about in personal growth arenas, which is a very important topic. But just, lately things have been showing up, and so I tend to think that the universe nudges us in certain directions. And so this direction is more about healthy attachments for us to things and people. Are you ready for that? See, human beings are not meant to go this alone. We're not. A lot of us think that, it's okay if I'm just by myself, because then no one can hurt me. We get to that point. And so I want to ask you a question. And this question was asked to me. Hey, Peter. How you doing? But this question was asked to me. Have you ever been referred to or referred to yourself as the black sheep of the family, the odd one out, the lone wolf, an individual, meaning nobody like you, which is true. But here's the thing, that's not how we are meant to be. Human beings are social creatures. We've been constructed and evolved to work together, to be together, to have connection. And in my work as a primary school teacher and in research and also as a coach, I see this issue coming up. Now, my generation, my mother, my grandmother, they worked hard. A lot of them had jobs, and there was a lot of single moms, there was a lot of single dads, and it was a little different. It wasn't the same, and we didn't have the knowledge we have now about how important bonding and attachment is for children. And a lot of us, we got our needs met. We got a house to live in, food to eat, clothing, we went to school, all of those things, but not all of us had a really good attachment and bonding with our family of origin. Now, it's not a black or white situation, and this was a defining moment when I realized this. It is possible to have been somewhat bonded, partially bonded, a little bit, where you had a bond with your parents, but perhaps it wasn't healthy, or perhaps it wasn't complete. And so what happens as adults, we do different things to try to compensate for that. Some of us close it off completely, right? Some of us get attached to things. Some of us have unhealthy attachment with other people in relationships. So it's a very unbalanced relationship. Often I find with my coaching clients, because they're kind of starting to wake up to these things, they give. I'm going to attach to you, and I'm going to make you love me by giving you everything I have. Well, that's not healthy either. Without the reciprocity, thank you, it doesn't work. It's still not a healthy attachment. And I'm seeing this a lot. And in fact, I was reading, and this is kind of what nudged me to talk to you all about it. I was reading an article that actually called it an epidemic of loneliness. How heartbreaking is that? That we are so disconnected in our society that it's becoming epidemic. It's a mental health issue. It's a physical health issue, and it is absolutely a spiritual issue. We don't have the same connections that we did earlier on. People are questioning. We're opening up to new religions, new cultures, new ways of being. And not everyone feels the same way. And there's this disconnect that's happening. And I really do think that the next generation is going to be so much healthier for our pain, if that makes any sense. Attachment is something that we can learn to navigate through, and we can heal, but it takes a lot of courage. Because here's what I have noticed, and please let me know if you feel this and you see if this resonates with you. When you haven't had healthy attachments as a child, or complete attachments, or you feel really bonded and confident in your connections with your family of origin or with the community around you, you don't get your needs met. And more importantly, two things. You don't know how to ask to get your needs met. And you don't want to even admit that you have them. Right? We kind of think it's, and we have expressions for this, right, in our society. Don't be needy, right? Don't whine, don't complain, don't ask for too much. Who do you think you are? Don't be greedy. Like, all of these things lead us to say, I don't want to ask. I don't want to be that guy. And then we don't get our needs met. And then, you get resentment and closed offness, and more happens that keeps us from connection. And connection is everything. And as someone who has been holding space for groups and for others, and even one-on-one clients, when I do one-on-one coaching, that's one of the things I remember distinctly. It was one of my very first clients. She just burst into tears, and I was, trust me, as a new coach, I was like, oh crap, what have I done? What did I say? What did I do, right? And then I realized it wasn't about me. She just had never been heard. And I mean, she eventually did tell me that this was what it was. I wasn't just listening. I was seeing her, and I was hearing her. And she had gone so long without that connection that when she finally had it, it was so overwhelming for her. And I've noticed that I've seen that more and more when I do small coaching groups, especially when they're live, but even the virtual ones. People connect. They find connection with people who are not going to judge them. They feel safe, and they can talk about anything, and they can be heard, and they can ask to get their needs met. And this is why I brought this up specifically for this particular group, because, hi, self-care. Getting your needs met is the ultimate in self-care. We need to get our needs met. We have to learn to ask for them and recognize that we have needs. So here's my little challenge for you right now. There's a few of us on, and I'm sure a few of us that will watch this later, because I know it's early on a Sunday morning. And I think I don't really follow, don't judge me, I don't really follow sports anymore since pretty much I moved out of my dad's house. And I think it's Super Bowl, so I get it. A lot of people are not on, but it's so good to see you. My challenge for you is to figure out what it is that you need. Think about it. What do you need? And I'm not talking about I need some breakfast or I need some coffee, although those are important things. And sometimes that is what you need to ask for. If you're someone who is, like me, I need hugs. And I will ask my friends for that now. I do. I need one-on-one time with people I care about in person. This phone business, and I love that I get to connect with you this way, and I can connect with you all over the world, because flying is really exhausting. And while I would love to spend my life flying around to do that, I can't. So I ask you to come live so that we can connect, and I love when that can happen. Sometimes what I need is a little bit of alone time, and it's not personal. And this is what I realized, is that that's what I need. And anyone who loves me is going to understand that. They may not like it, but they understand it. And so I'm wondering what it is that you need. What do you need more of? What is going to make you feel connected and loved and supported and heard? So that is what I'm going to ask you to think about today. And your needs list is not static. Right now, in this moment, I feel good. I don't really have a lot of needs. Later today, I might need a nap. That's okay too. You have physical needs. You have emotional needs. You have spiritual needs. What is it that you need? Do you need to get up 10 minutes early so that you can meditate? Or just do some breathing? Or just have a little bit of a buffer? What is it that you need? And I am going to, and I don't usually do this because I think this is something you need to learn to do for yourself. But when it comes to asking for your own needs, we hesitate, especially those of us who don't have the skills, who haven't learned those skills, who don't have the confidence in getting our needs met because our past experiences have said, you're not worthy. You don't get to have your needs met. People are going to judge you for it. I get that. And the only way through that is literally through that, is taking the courageous step to actually ask for your needs to get met, or set some boundaries around those needs, right? If I need to come home from a long day of workshops and whatever, and I need some quiet time so I can recharge, that's a boundary. But that's also a need, and that's something I need to ask for and let anyone around me know and understand. So your needs are just as important as anybody else's. In fact, for yourself, they're more important, and they should be. So I am going to give you permission to fulfill your needs, to ask for what you need and make it happen. But first, of course, you need to figure out what those are. And truly, get deep with it. Sit with it. This is a great thing to journal about. Make a list of, things that I need. What do I need? I need to feel more connected to my partner. So I'm going to ask for a regular date night. This is something I need. I need to feel connected. Date night without the kids, that's a huge way to connect. Just to have 15 minutes before bedtime where it's just you and me one-on-one talking about whatever, but it's just time where we can hear each other, and there's no other distractions. A friend of mine just informed her family that she needs to have dinner with them without the Wi-Fi being on. And you know what? She's making it happen, and it's making a difference in her family and in her pleasure. So there's connection. This is what it's all about. And the attachment that we grew up with, or the lack of, or the confused attachments, they inform where we are now unless we do the work. Unless we really do the work. And it is scary work. It takes a lot of courage because it's being really, really vulnerable. And we all know that vulnerability is a huge, huge issue in our society, along with it, with attachment. But this whole business of loneliness, and I think sometimes the loneliest people I've ever met have been in relationships, have been living with other people under the same roof, but they don't feel heard, they don't feel connected, and there's no depth to the relationship. And the good news, that can change. Absolutely, that can change. And it starts with you. It starts within you. So don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Figure it out and ask for it. You have permission. Be greedy. Go ahead and be greedy about it. There's nothing wrong with it. You deserve it. So I would love for you to help out the other people in the group get a handle on their own needs. And sometimes we hit something like this, and we've heard the fluff. The movies tell us we need date night, for example. Maybe you don't need date night. Maybe you need time apart. Maybe you need to do your own thing. You need to take up painting, something, like painting the hobby that you had before you met that you somehow let go of, and you need to take that back. Then that's what your need is. And that's not to the detriment of a relationship. That would be to the benefit of your relationship, because when you're happy and you're feeling loved and connected and supported within, then your relationship is only going to get better, right? So ask for what you need. And maybe what you need is to put yourself out there so you can find connection instead of hiding at home, watching Netflix, drinking wine. Yes, tell me what you need. And if there's a need that we can fulfill in our group, if you're feeling lost or disconnected or friendless or confused, or there's something that you want to explore that you haven't been able to, let us know. We're here for you. We want to help. We want to connect. But as with anything, it does take a step, right? And that step starts right here. So please let me know your thoughts on this idea of this epidemic of loneliness and the skills of attachment that we maybe just have to relearn as adults, a lot of us, right? Anyways, have a fantastic Sunday and a beautiful week. We actually got a little sun here yesterday, so I think people are feeling a little better, but the rain is back, and that's okay, because I'm sure summer will come eventually. Have a wonderful week. Blessings. Mwah. Bye.